There's a tomb on a mountainside in China. Massive, majestic, silent. No name, no inscription, no memory carved in stone. But inside this silent tomb lies a ruler who changed the fate of an empire. The only woman in Chinese history to seize the title of emperor, not empress. Emperor. She rose from the shadows of the forbidden city, outplayed generals, silenced scholars, and defied centuries of tradition. And then, history tried to erase her. Who was she? What did she do to gain so much power? And why did the men who came after her fear her enough to bury her name? You're watching Hidden in History, where shadows still speak. Subscribe to uncover the stories they tried to silence. Her name was Wu Zhao. Born in 624 AD into a relatively privileged family, she was educated, poised, and observant. At 14, she entered the imperial court of Emperor Taizong as a concubine. She was beautiful, yes, and smart, ruthlessly smart. While others competed for favor, Wu Zhao watched and learned. When Taizong died, the law was clear. Concubines without children were to retire to a Buddhist convent, forgotten. But Wu Zhao did something no one expected. She returned, not quietly, not in shame, but straight into the arms of the new emperor, Taizong's son, Gaozong. What followed wasn't a love story. It was a game of thrones, ancient China edition. Once back in the palace, Wu Zhao began rising, fast. She wasn't just consort, she was a strategist, reading the court like a chessboard. She gained Gaozong's trust, then his authority. When he suffered a stroke, she became his voice, his regent, and eventually his ruler. Enemies whispered that she poisoned her own infant daughter to frame the Empress and claim the throne. Fact or fabrication? We don't know. What we do know is that the Empress and another consort were publicly executed, and Wu Zhao became Empress of China. But she wasn't finished. She began promoting officials based on merit, not bloodline. She elevated Buddhism as a counterweight to Confucian power. She built a network of spies and used them with surgical precision. She ruled behind the curtain until she tore it down. In 690 AD, Wu Zhao declared herself the Huangdi, Emperor of China. Not Empress Regent, not Dowager, not co-ruler, Emperor. She founded her own dynasty, the Zhou dynasty, interrupting the mighty Tang. This was more than a title. It was a declaration that the mandate of heaven didn't belong to men alone. Her court was filled with loyalists, monks, poets and scholars, many from humble backgrounds. She taxed fairly, protected farmers, and expanded the imperial exam system. But this new order made enemies, powerful ones. Confucian scholars branded her a usurper, a witch, a killer. Whispers of debauchery and cruelty circulated. The truth? Twisted, deliberately, because history, as always, was written by the ones she had silenced. Behind the reforms and progress, there was fear. Some officials disappeared without explanation. Her secret police operated in the dark, exposing conspiracies, real or imagined. Even her sons turned against her. She exiled one, had another executed. She ruled alone, and at times, perhaps cruelly. But it was the same cruelty the men before her used. The difference was, she was a woman, doing it better. And for that, she had to be punished. By 705 AD, aging and weakened, Wu Zetian was forced to abdicate by ministers who had waited decades for her fall. She died peacefully soon after. But before her death, she left one final command. Her tomb, a massive stone chamber carved into the mountainside, would remain blank. No name, no epitaph, no legacy carved in bronze. Was it humility? Regret? Or one final act of rebellion? She knew the historians would distort her story. So she left behind something they couldn't rewrite. A mystery. Wu Zetian's story is one of the most radical in world history. And yet, so few know her name. She ruled the world's largest empire at a time when women weren't allowed to speak in court. She proved that merit could triumph over birthright, even in a patriarchal stronghold. And she was hated for it. Her name was later slandered, her dynasty erased, her reputation shredded in ancient textbooks. But today, historians are revisiting her story, not as myth or monster, but as ruler, reformer, and survivor. Beneath that silent tomb lies a woman who outmaneuvered empires and was nearly lost to time. But she's not forgotten. Not anymore. You've just heard the secret story of the lost Empress. This is hidden in history, where shadows still speak. Subscribe to uncover the stories they tried to bury. We'll see you in the next one.